Show with your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
I don't think I'm good enough in this spot based on my own personal mental health, so I can't continue. What is going on, everybody? Welcome in on this Monday morning, October 18th, 2021. I am your host, Andrew Romanella, here on The Rome Show on 12 Ounce Sports Radio and Zingo TV, channel 761. Boy, is it a good morning to everybody, all of my Romo Sapiens. It's Monday, and I think I might address this every week. Well, every week where we're able to be on this airwave, and this week I think we might have some stuff figured out, so that's exciting. But every week I tell you it's Monday, and I tell you to bring the good energy. So we, or I, here at the Rome Show is going to try and bring you that good energy all morning long. Remember, you can get in on the action at Coach Romo 24 at Wide World of Rome on Twitter and the Gram. If you head to our Instagram story, we have a sticker up right now. Write in whatever you want, but it is a jam-packed Monday here on the Rome Show. I mean, we got a lot of football games going into overtime, 10 so far already through 6 weeks in the NFL season. We've talked about it before, so much parity in the NFL this year. It continued to reign through in week 6. The MLB playoffs are fantastic. The Atlanta Braves win in two walk-offs. The Atlanta Braves take a 2-0 series lead. We have a tie in the AL series headed back to Boston. That's a good one as well. College football, we're going to get a little bit into college football as LSU makes a little bit of noise after winning a big football game at home. And we got some sounders for you. We'll run through so much stuff. The Romie Awards, your Romalytic, and so much more. We may or may not be joined by one Mr. Rocky Romanella today. It all depends on the timing that he has. But either way, I'm rolling with you here on Monday morning. Good morning to the people. Write into us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. Let's go through now. We'll make this share. We'll share it on Twitter. That's so exciting. And while we do that and get some stuff shared up on Twitter, we're going to fire this Rome Show up with your highlights of the week.
3, 2, 1.
Highlights of the week.
The Eagle has landed.
So, wow, this first one is really disturbing for me, and I'm really upset about it, but, it is what it is. I kind of called it. I was telling people before this game happened, I'm like, listen, this is a trap game for the Miami Dolphins. They're in London. I don't really know what's going to happen, and sure enough, I was right. I didn't really know what was going to happen, and the Dolphins lose 23-20, and the Jacksonville Jaguars pick up their first victory of the year. Yeah, and I told you I'm gonna keep it positive here on the Rome Show, so I'm staying with the positive vibes here. But why I'm upset is more or less than anything else because I just dislike Urban Meyer. I disliked Urban Meyer prior to the things that went on with him last week, and I dislike him more now. You're an NFL head coach. People, Urban, kill. I mean, spend an insane amount of time. They do probably really bad things like yourself to get the job that you have, and you not only make the stupid decision of going out to the bar, but it's not like you went home, let's go back to Jacksonville and hit the bar in Jacksonville like every normal head coach in America. No, you decide to stay home and then make those bad decisions. I wonder if he stayed in London. Either way, I'm just mad because the Dolphins lost. The highlight is the Jaguars won. Moving on. Your second highlight this week. And stay tuned a little bit later on because we got some audio for you on some of these highlights as well as some others. But we just like to teaser you probably in like the 7:45 hour. So come on back. Just come on back, okay? Your second highlight of the week is the Chicago Sky win the WNBA title. Candace Parker averaged nearly 13 and a half, and she was not the MVP, but that's not why I bring her up. It is because Candace Parker won a title with the LA Sparks and played all of her career, in LA, and then made the decision to go home to Chicago. And in the WNBA, it's like a, in my opinion at least, like a LeBron feeling type return in Candace Parker. And she goes home. They make a nice little comeback against the Phoenix Mercury, win in Game 4, 80-74. And Parker had this to say after the game. It was amazing to hug my dad and my mom and my family, Parker said. It was just an amazing feeling to be from here and see so many people in the stands that have been supporting you since you started. As many may know or don't know, Candace Parker was possibly the best player to ever play Tennessee's program under the great Pat Summitt, won 2 NCAA titles. She was the number 1 pick in the draft. She's won an MVP. She's won the Rookie of the Year. Now she's won her second title. A bona fide Hall of Famer. In the final game, she had 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. So really cool story there out of Chicago. Shout out to Candace Parker for making it back to her hometown and doing what everyone wants to do, which is win for your home. And your third highlight this week, and this may cause me to turn the music off because I'm really disturbed. A lot of disturbed, extremely disturbed. Whatever verbiage you want to use with this story, but the highlight is this, and it's really a low light, but we call it a highlight based on the name of the segment. Jon Gruden has resigned as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you haven't heard about this story now, you should probably read a little bit up on it. Jon Gruden's just flat out a bad guy. There's no other way to put it. Jon Gruden is straight up a bad guy. And we learned this. And what kind of happened was, as the NFL was investigating the Washington football team, then the Washington Redskins' poor conduct in their organization, they find these emails. There was about 680,000 emails that they were going through for the Washington football team's organization. And, you know, coincidental, maybe not coincidental, Jon Gruden's brother was the head coach of Washington at the time. I digress. They find these emails of Jon Gruden treating DeMar Smith very poorly, saying very bad things to him, racist things, over email. And it gets to the point where they get sent to the Oakland Raiders around October 8th. They stop, I think they received their last set of emails on October 11th, and Jon Gruden resigns this week. So it's the best thing that the Raiders could have done is just get him out of there immediately, because once they surface that he has done this, it's over. There's no going back on it, right? And I'm going to turn the music off because I have an opinion on this. And those are your highlights of the week. And like I said, the third one that we're talking about now, definite low light, write us in. Coach Romo 24 at Wide World of Rome. Just head over to the Instagram story on Wide World of Rome, and you'll be able to write in. And I'd love to know. I'd love to get your opinions here. All right? Here's my feeling on it, okay? Jon Gruden's a bad guy. Okay, we probably know that, and I hate to tell this to a lot of people out there right now, but there are probably a lot of bad guys in the National Football League. I mean, it is the Premier League where you could do something really stupid, you could break the law, you could get kicked out of the league 4 or 5 times, Josh Gordon, or put on the commissioner's exempt list or whatever list you want to call it. Okay? You could do all of these things and still find yourself on a team. It is the only league in America, and maybe even the world, where if you are possibly one of a top 5 or 10 player at your position, definitely, maybe even 15 or 20, you'll keep finding a job if you keep, to a degree, not getting in trouble to an extreme amount, but like enough of an amount that a team is willing to continue to take shots on you, like Josh Gordon with the marijuana and the drugs, right? It's the same thing over and over again, but because he still runs really fast or whatever the hell people think he can do, I don't know, recurring pattern here, He'll keep getting signed. They'll keep allowing him back in the league, right? We see it. It's a litany across the league, okay? That's a tangent to this. John Gruden is merely just the example of, unfortunately, probably a lot of people that exist in the National Football League like John Gruden. It's just a fact. It is what it is. What is probably most important now is we keep doing what we've done with John Gruden, is finding out about these people and getting them the hell out of the league. You don't deserve to run an organization. You don't deserve to be a head football coach if that's the type of character you have. So John Gruden resigns from the Las Vegas Raiders, probably because Al Davis brought him into a room and said, here's the deal, dude. You're not going to be coaching football here anymore. You have one shot. It's either you walk out this door and I tell people I fired you, or you walk out this door and you tell people you resigned because you don't want to be a distraction. Terrible quote, by the way, out of John Gruden. Never meant to hurt anybody. Right. But I'm directly attacking somebody verbally via email. Idiots. And great lesson for the younger generation out there, or any generation. Any person that has access to email or Twitter and whatever else it is, whatever you can type. Just be careful. Just be careful. You got to remember, this stuff stays out there. It's just a fact. You can think you got rid of it. You can think you're hiding it. You can think it won't be found, but it might, and it could, and it has. And that's, I think, the biggest thing, especially if you're a public figure. If you're not even just, and I hate this terminology, like the face of a sport, that Mike Trout's the face of baseball, right? Tom Brady's the face of football. But like, in a way, kind of like Chris Berman, kind of like John Madden, right? Like, these guys, in a way, are the people we immediately think about when we think about football. That's why people think about them being the face of a sport. Okay, they call Jerry West the logo. You know, well, he is the logo of the NBA, because when that logo was created in the NBA, et cetera, you thought of NBA, you thought of Jerry West, the logo, right? That is kind of how you become the face of a sport. Well, because John Gruden was on Monday Night Football and he did the whop and the weep and the whop, and he did all these like QB confidentials, and he was in there in the YZ X banana fly split 770 QB confidential, get the guy in the room, we dissect it, all that stuff, right? You remember the Corona commercial, you know, the zip and the zap and the zip and the zap, right? All the BS that John Gruden brought you, okay? Because that's a fact. And I think in today's day and age, right, and like in today's life, you can kind of, on television, be famous and successful if you do that stuff. And I think John Gruden utilized that aspect of what entertained people, and that helped him. And you find out he's a bad guy. What I think happened, and the long and short of it, when he was the head coach of the Raiders back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and the Buccaneers in the 90s and early 2000s, he had somebody working underneath him. So be it a ball runner, so be it a defensive assistant, so be it somebody that, and now you learn, bad guy, John Gruden, bad guy, probably treated this person very poorly. I'm not going to even begin to fathom maybe how, because I'm sure he treated a whole lot more people poorly than Mr. Smith via email. That's just a fact, okay? So he probably treated this person poorly. That person now works in the National Football League offices, either with Roger Goodell, under Roger Goodell, around Roger Goodell, in New York City. He works somewhere where he has the ability to make some calls like this, or get some shots called like this. And I think, sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I think he's a part of this investigation, brings him to Roger Goodell, and it's like, dude, I'm not going to lie to you, Mr. Goodell. Like, he was a bad guy while I worked for him. So he kind of deserves, we can't have this in our league anymore. Whatever it is, Roger Goodell says, all right, send him to the Raiders. We think the Raiders need to know about this so they can make a decision. And sure enough, one thing leads to another, and bam, John Gruden bad guy, no longer the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And what did the Raiders do? They come out and they win. They go to Denver and they play a really good football game and they win. And I'm not, listen, could they have done that with Gruden still as the head coach? Possibly, yeah. But did they? Were they? They were going down a bad path? I don't know. Either way, he's a bad guy. He don't deserve to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders anymore. And I'll say this before I get off the topic. Good job out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because I don't know if it was last year, that was probably 2 years ago now, maybe even 3 years ago now, John Gruden was introduced into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Ring of Honor. And they came out and they made a statement and they essentially said, John Gruden is not a good human, and so he's no longer going to be in our Ring of Honor. And that, to me, that fires me up because you can't, and like I said earlier, football tends to be a sport where people turn a blind eye to either bad people or bad things that they've done just because they end up being a good football player or a good football coach. So for the Buccaneers to turn around and say, you know what, John Gruden, you're a bad human. You don't stand for what we stand for. You're no longer on our Ring of Honor. That fires me up. So good job out of the Raiders to a degree. Get him the hell out of there. Bad job out of Gruden. Good job out of the Buccaneers. And I hope the NFL starts uncovering more bad dudes that are in their league and just get them out. Get them out. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it for your organization and your image to have a bad dude coaching or playing just because you think they're good at their job or good at the sport. Move on. There's better people. And in turn, I bet that's going to help you win a championship. I'm just saying. It's the Rome Show here on 12 on Sports Radio and Zingo TV channel 761. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special, I should probably speak some English for he's really special. We have a special caller on the line. It is the other half of the show, Mr. Rocky Romanella. Welcome on to the Rome Show this Monday morning.
Wow, standing ovation this morning. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you should feel good. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning to you. It's a beautiful Monday morning. We've got the week 6 was awesome. Points are being scored left and right. The MLB playoffs, like you said in the opener, are incredible.
Incredible.
Obviously, I know nothing about baseball because both teams I picked to make to the World Series are no longer playing baseball.
If it makes you feel any better, I was telling some people, and I can't do this, so I wouldn't do it. But had I to put bananas or apples on games, I was saying, I really think you should go with the Rays. It's the Rays year. This is it. And nope. So my baseball opinion rocks out the window as well.
Yeah. And I think the storyline that we talked about way early on could be coming to fruition. And if the Houston Astros win the World Series, are they rectified of all of their missteps in the past? I don't know.
I have to give you an opinion on this before you go on, because I think they are rectified, and I don't know how much I believe this, but I'm just telling you what I think the public thinks, because I think what people have been saying about this playoff run for Houston right now is it's like, hey man, they were really good. Why'd they cheat in the first place? Is the line that I keep hearing. And Rock, I'm not going to lie. It's not wrong. It's not a wrong thought process. Do I agree? I don't know. Because are the Red Sox rectified if they win? Is Cora rectified if he wins? I think at the end of the day, Major League Baseball handled that so poorly. I feel like everyone's almost now more mad at Major League Baseball than either of the two teams because they're producing such an entertaining series right now. People are almost forgetting in a way that those are the two teams that did this.
Yeah. If there was a little bit more handed down to the players, then I think you'd find more people actually rooting for
suspensions and stuff.
That's right. If you actually put onus on the players and not just had the GMs and the coaches take the heat, then everyone would be okay, I'm okay with them winning again.
Absolutely.
But now it's I don't know if I'm okay with them winning again. And they're right. They're not wrong. They've always were good. Listen, they're in Major League Baseball. They're really good baseball players. We already knew that. That doesn't change the opinion one way or another. It's just interesting to see it play out now because if I'm any one of those players in the Houston Astros locker room. I am so motivated to win, to tell everyone to take a walk, that I'm probably playing better than I've ever played before in my life.
Oh, I agree 1,000%. And I have some of the stats that I'm going to go over a little bit later when we're getting people ready for game 3. But the bottom line is, when you look at Correa, you look at Altuve, you look at some of these guys on the Astros roster that people like Rocky despised and hated. Hate, like legitimate hate. Those guys are tearing the cover off the baseball. And I think an added factor to this whole thing is because the two teams playing in the game, in the ALCS right now, both were ones that were accused of cheating. I think that also adds to the lack of care, almost care level, because it's not like you're going to Boston as an Astros player and getting booed by the fans and called a trash can cheater and whatever, because Boston was also cheating in that same year. It was all lumped kind of together. Whereas if you got the Astros playing, I don't know, let's say insert team here, like the Blue Jays or anyone, they're probably getting hammered by the away fans because they were directly involved in the cheating. Imagine them playing at Yankee Stadium. So I think also the fact that they're playing each other changes kind of the care level for some people on that.
Yeah, I think you're right too, right? Because you're just not going to hear about it. Now, if they were playing the Yankees, there'd be signs every game. People would be going absolutely bananas, and it'd be more of the storyline than the actual game.
Absolutely, I agree. What else you got for us here on the Rome Show?
So I think I wrote it into the Instagram.
I have it up right here. The New York Giants are officially the New York Mets. You wrote.
Yes, and do you understand what that means? Or do you need me to elaborate?
No, so I think I understand. Let me see if I can uncode this here, okay? The New York Mets, at least in one aspect, always have hype around them or excitement or whatever, and then it always ultimately results in what you're seeing now, which is them not in the postseason and them breaking all these stupid records and them being really bad. So that's the first thing I think you mean by that. And
I think you're on the right track.
I am on the right track. Okay, now explain to the people.
It's exactly that. It's okay. We have turned it around. We're getting this. We're getting that. We're doing this. We're doing that. And then we've got 3 different coaches over the last 8 years, and 3 different coordinators in every position. We've got 4 former head coaches on staff of this team, and we literally still lose the same way every single game.
Mind-blowing.
It is incredible to me. Think about the Mets. They literally lose the same way since they've been in the World Series. They've lost the exact same way every year.
That's a great point, and I feel like the same injuries happen to the team every single year.
It's incredible to me. And the worst part is the stat I got yesterday is the Giants and the Buffalo Bills, and we'll see tonight if the Giants take over the league, but the Giants and the Bills were tied for first place in the NFL in points given up in the first quarter.
Wow.
Do you know that all football season, the New York Football Giants have only given up 3 points to opponents in the first quarter?
Yeah, and I feel like they had a lead in every first quarter or something like that of all 6 games.
I don't know about that, but they gave up 4 touchdowns in the second quarter yesterday, and I shut the game off. I stopped watching.
I mean, it's I think you're onto something. The only reason why I will say that the Mets are slightly different is because I think the Giants have proven more success over time than the Mets to give you a little bit more hope that it'll eventually turn. Now, I could be wrong, right? It's been 10 years, I get it, but they've lost 29 of their last 35 home games. I mean, think about that for a second. The New York Giants have lost 29 of 35 games at home, which, by the way, Rock, can I say this? Can I say this? Okay.
You're about to say the stadium.
Yeah. MetLife Stadium is terrible. It's just, it is. You destroyed a cultural stadium icon in the Meadowlands in Giant Stadium, and you built this. And you know what? You're paying for it. And because you decided, oh, Jets, come on in. Let us both share the stadium. Well, you know what? Now you both suck. It's like what we tell two-way guys. Would you rather be average at both or great at one? Now we're average to bad at both football teams instead of be good at one football team.
I don't understand it. And you put out a lot of fans with your PSLs and all that stuff. And listen, if it doesn't turn around pretty soon for the New York Giants, you're going to have to bring in Theo Epstein to break a curse that has just started at the stadium.
Well, Theo Epstein, that's phenomenal. It took me a second. I was like, wait, did he mean the Mets? Was he trying to talk about the Mets? No, he means the Giants.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to play my Rockies rundown? I'm going to go through every single game and say one line on every single NFL game this morning.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. Okay, hold on. Let me get the rundown. Cue sounder. Here we go. Let's cue sounder.
Rockies. Rundowns.
Rockies.
Run it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rocky's Rundown. My name's Rocky Romanella. I'm going to be rolling with you for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
So exciting. So, number one, first game of the week, Thursday night, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are unstoppable. See you in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady. That's all I'm saying there. Let's go to London, across the pond. Happy for Trevor Lawrence, not happy for Urban Meyer, sad for the Dolphins. At least they fought. New York Giants, you've already heard from me. Green Bay Packers, it's pretty interesting how that week one loss seems very like it was 10 years ago and no one actually cares. Cincinnati Bengals. Here we go, Joey Burrows, and can't cry this week, Dan Hernandez. What's his last name? Is it Hernandez? Is it?
Who are you talking about?
The coach of the Lions?
Campbell.
Can't cry this week.
Campbell.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. Can't cry this week. I know everyone loves you for it, but you're 0-5. You're 0-6, and again, Jared Goff is Matthew Stafford.
After the first commercial break, we're doing Turn Up the Volume, and I have a quote about Dan Campbell talking about Jared Goff. Stay tuned.
Interesting. The Houston Texans, you are in the same class as the Giants. You're a mess. The Colts, you got to win. Almost had my pick last week, but you got heartbroken. It's okay. Like, does Tyreek Hill do anything but catch touchdown passes? The guy is incredible. It's really good. DCFC,
They're bad.
It's one of those years for you. We already know. Minnesota Vikings, Carolina Panthers, great game. Done and done. That's all it is. It was a great football game.
It was a great football game.
That's right. The Baltimore Ravens, you are the Baltimore Ravens. Justin Herbert,
so
get a
good.
taste of what the greatness looks like. They're so good.
I just don't understand how Jim Harbaugh can be good for that long, or John, whichever one it is. I think it's John over there, can be good for that long, and yet our teams can't find a coach for 3 years.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson might be the reason for that.
That's true.
Yeah. And how about, the Cardinals are
so good. How right was I? I'm so right.
Oh, they're so good.
So
and
right.
and I caught live the Hail Mary at the end of the second half, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna fuel the Browns. Baker's coming back.
Yeah, no.
Not the case. And I feel for it. I have my boy Johnny Padulo on the squad up here in New York, was down in Cleveland for the game to see his boys play, and they got smacked.
And by the way, Odell Beckham Jr. starting to bark up that stupid tree again.
Yeah, because he's been playing for 3 games and has literally 3 catches.
He's
not that good.
I know.
I know.
Terrible.
I'm sorry. Donovan Peoples-Jones is better. And by the way, go across the state. Jamar Chase looks like he's going to be even better than all of you.
Oh, yeah. And everyone was bashing the Bengals for that Jamar Chase pick.
Yeah, well, dumb. The Raiders. Hey, listen, your boy Derek Carr coming up big. Huge response to the Gruden thing. I've heard all about it. Go NFL, right? It's about time someone realized. And by the way, on Gruden and what you were talking about, the NFL is what everyone has been trying to move away from. Corporate America is moving away from the all-boys club. Everyone else is moving from that old school, I'm in power, I make decisions approach. The NFL is still just that league.
Yes.
And they'll never not be that
They
league.
can't not.
No, because like you said, the talent on the field has always superseded everything off the field. And honestly, until Roger Goodell is gone, I don't think that would ever change.
I agree.
I was really, listen,
It's all about the dollar
I'm gonna
figure.
No doubt. And if I'm going to be 2-4 and 0-4 at home, I'm going to be 2-4 on the year. Okay, I want to be 2-0 like the New England Patriots.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to be 2-4, I want to be 2-4 like the New England Patriots. Because even though they lost an OT to, it looks to be a pretty good Dallas Cowboys team.
They're really good.
They're really good. Prescott going in for an MRI on his calf today, so we'll see how that goes. But right, if I'm the Patriots, I'm pumped about Mac Jones. I'm pumped about the way the team is competing. I've been in every single ball game that I've played in this year, and like from a year where you're like, okay, it's not going to be Cam. If we don't have a franchise quarterback, like this could be pretty bad for us.
Yeah.
And now you're like, all right, we got the right guy.
I think the only thing that upsets you, and again, this is as Monday morning quarterback as it gets, and Bill Belichick isn't this guy. But if you look at the way the Dolphins are playing now, and you say to yourself, man, the Bills are so good, you're only really fighting for a wild card. Losing that first game of the year to the Dolphins now, it might eventually be actually that one game that causes, probably because the way I feel is the way you're probably feeling right now is that at the end of the year, the Patriots are going to be there, which is why you think their 2-4 looks really good. And I think the only thing you're going to look at is, man, that first game of the year, and it goes back to the point we always make, sometimes the first game of the year is the most important, but I couldn't agree with you more. You're trying to tell me, anyone can't tell me, it looks exactly like the start of another 15-year run for the New England Patriots. It's exactly what it looks like.
It's scary, and to all of you pundits who thought that because Mac Jones didn't play that good in the national championship game, right? He dropped 10 spots. You literally helped him get drafted by the Patriots.
I know,
because of all the things that you said about him.
I can't believe that I'm staring at, and it's probably what Giants fans are doing. It's probably what a lot of fans do every single year. I'm just staring at quarterbacks that I wanted on my roster that I really liked coming out of college, and none of which landed on the Miami Dolphins. And I'm not blaming it all on Tua. I'm not, because there's a whole lot more issues with this team than just Tua Tagovailoa. But I do believe a guy like Russell Wilson has made the Seattle Supersonics good for like 9 years. I know it's the Seahawks, and so you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what pisses me off the most.
No doubt. And then my final thought on the Seahawks here is I got two. One, hey, Steelers, 3-3. Look, they're just there. That's the power of Big Ben. I'm going to keep saying it.
They're just
and number
there.
Two,
it's true.
And number two, how does Geno Smith still have a job in the National Football League?
I mean, he didn't play terrible.
He did not play terrible, but he fumbled to lose the game.
Yeah, well, and see, this is the thing. That's why he has a job as a backup quarterback, because you never expected him to be playing those important minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? I got to bring Rocky's rundown home here because you've got a very exciting game tonight. You've got a Titans team who really doesn't know if they want to be good yet, right? Like, we don't know. Remember, week one, you crushed the Titans.
I did.
They got a Romy Award for most disappointment.
They did. Well, that was very fair. I mean, especially relative to the week, very fair.
Yeah, and so they've thrived a little. They've played the same way Mike Vrabel's teams have played since he got there, and it's a grudge match every game. Sometimes they look like they're ready to take a leap to the AFC Championship game, and sometimes they look like they're just pedestrian and they're just the Titans of old. And the Bills, man. First of all, we didn't get a chance. I don't know if we got a chance to talk about Josh Allen last week, but he looked like a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He looked like a Hall of Famer, and I'm excited to see him on Monday Night Football. And I would argue that tonight might be the best Monday night game of the season so far.
I agree. It's the best Monday night game of the season. I think it tells you a lot about what the Titans are. I think the Bills win it, we might as well make our picks now. We're both 3-2, by the way. I think the Bills win it, but I think that the Titans, even if they lose, are going to prove whether or not they are a good team. They could, if they lose, if they get just absolutely slaughtered at home by this Bills team, then I don't really believe in the Titans still. But if they lose, 24-21, contain this offense to a degree, whatever the case is, I'll start believing a little bit more in the Titans.
Yeah, I agree. You'd have to believe in the Titans if they win. So I think we're both picking the Bills. So we have to gonna have to now choose a score to break this.
All right. So the line is Bills -6, and the over/under is 53.5.
I'm gonna take the under, and that's gonna be my.
Okay, Rocky's taking the Bills, and he's going under 53. Got to write all this stuff down. Makes it official. All right, and I will go.
About it. Yeah.
I'll go the opposite way.
Perfect.
I will also take the Bills, but I will go over. All right.
Ooh, I'm taking a chance on this one. I'm hoping for some Monday night defense here.
Insert lock noise. All right, we locked.
Boom.
Nope, that wasn't funny.
There it is. and Andrew Rome, that, my friend, is Rocky's rundown.
Wow. Just wow. Wow. Exceptional work out of you. Really, and surprising work. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a surprise. Rocky definitely had this planned and said, I'm going to surprise Andrew with some Rocky's rundown to start his Monday morning.
Yeah. I had to make sure I got it in. We've got the Empire getting kicked off here at 8:15.
Big Monday planned.
Kids. That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's month end Monday this week in the Empire. We've got the kids getting kicked off here with breakfast in school, so it's going to be a busy morning. But here's what will stay consistent for me, and that is I will be tuned in to the Rome Show until the 8:30 hour, just as all of you listeners should be as well.
That's exhilarating stuff. What do we have on the dish? I'm about to give out the morning hot cakes, Rock. What do you have on the plate for the kiddos this morning?
Morning hot take is, let's see, I want to fire someone. I don't have,
LSU
I
did
wanna
that for you.
Yeah, exactly. I want to fire someone, but I'm going to take the Boston Red Sox.
Okay. Wow. I like that. Morning hot cake, Boston Red Sox. Well, Rocky, thank you. We miss you here for the hour and a half, but to get you for any amount of time, the Romo Sapiens, we appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you. Ladies and gents, you have yourselves a great day.
We will talk to you, bro.
Peace.
And that is Rocky Romanella. Wow.
Right? I want to start hearing that it's important that a team is practicing their defensive 2-minute drill.
Yes,
because
sir.
No one in the NFL can stop anyone with if you have over a minute left, you're kicking a field goal every time.
And I give him the love because he is the co-host of the show and he deserves his sounder to be played. But man, is that sounder so true? It's so true, man. It's just it's just so true that the 2-minute defense never, ever gets worked on in the National Football League. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to hit a commercial break here on the Rome Show, 12-Ounce Sports Radio, and Zingo TV channel 761. We will be back on the flip side of the break. We still have some morning hotcakes. We got to straight off the Rome. I got to give you some LSU vibes. Turn up the volume. We told you we'd talk about Major League Baseball, and I'll give you the Romie Awards for the week. You stay with us till 8:30 a.m. here on 12-Ounce Sports Radio and Zingo TV channel 761.
It's the Rome
Show! Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sports book, Click on your bet and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Change your game with the all-new Pro Rock Hockey Stick, a Canadian company providing a top-of-the-line twig at an affordable price. Pro Rock sticks are extremely lightweight, balanced, and provide the perfect kick point. Get your fully customized stick today at ProRock.com. Play like a Pro Rock.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Rome Show here on 12 Ounce Sports Radio and Zingo TV, channel 761, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter live. Hit us at Wide World of Rome on Twitter, and you can also head over to the Gram. We got some write-ins on the Instagram. Chris Warner 15 writes in, as usual. There is a lot of bad football being played in the New York, New Jersey area. Not only did he include the Giants and the Jets, but he also included Rutgers University football, as they have lost, I think, 3 straight since entering the meat of their Big Ten schedule. I'll tell you what, Chris Warner 15, that's not a bad point, and it makes me laugh too, right, that we have to say the New York, New Jersey area when we talk about the Jets and the Giants. Because, like, yeah, you know, they're like, it's the New York Giants, it's the New York Jets, right? But, like, they all play in New Jersey. But we can't just say that because it's, like, offensive to the New York team. So we got to say New York, New Jersey area, when in actuality, it's a lot of bad football is being played in the state of New Jersey. That's just a fact. At the college and professional level, you go around the high schools, you watch a lot of good football. But college and professional football really need to figure it out here in the New Jersey area. Malizi, our guy, Chanticleer, shout out. Sean's up, what? I think it's this way or this way, something like that. Fire sale in East Rutherford needs to start now. So clearly, and we have some more write-ins we'll get to as the show goes on here at Wide World of Rome. Head over to the Instagram. You can jump us in on the Facebook as well. Whatever you want. Your call, whatever you want. Yeah, Malizi. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know what the fire sale exactly is, right? Is it, on the New York Jets side of things, you just hired a new coach. You've kind of committed to this general manager because you allowed him to draft the quarterback. You allowed him to hire the head coach. In theory, the general idea for these things is you give people 2 years, 3. I think it's insane to think, and I get it. Like, I get it. It's not college. You're not recruiting. You're more so going to get, but like just certain stipulations in the organization, how much money they have to spend available, what other people before them made bad decisions. It sometimes might take 3 or more years to turn an organization around. And like, how can you expect to have long-term success if you never ever commit to anyone to being there for even a semi-decent amount of long-term? Like, when I say semi-decent, I say, like, you know, like 4 or 5 years. Like, look at the San Francisco 49ers. And they haven't won a Super Bowl. And now this is the 5th year that Kyle Shanahan has been there, I believe. Maybe 4th. I think it's 5th. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. But they committed to those dudes for like 7 or 8 years. And we're like, here's the deal. Here are the keys to the car. You have this extended period of time so you can be good or try to be good. And sure enough, they've gone to a Super Bowl and they've stayed consistently competitive. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's throughout probably 2.5 to 3 years where they didn't have the quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo always healthy. And I know that they didn't win as many games during that time period, but like for us to still think very highly of that organization through a time when they didn't make the playoffs for 2 straight years, which with every other organization, that's like, you know? So you got to do what the San Francisco 49ers did. Give these GMs and these coaches the belief that they can be there long term. Now, I get it. If they suck, they deserve to be banged, right? Like, if you're so bad that after 2 or 3 years you deserve to be fired, I understand that. Like, bad things are going on. You're Urban Meyer. That's just maybe a personal slight. But either way, you're Urban Meyer, right? Like, you're not good. Okay, I see it. But, like, how can every 2 or 3 years, like the Jetropolitans, you change your coach and you ever expect to be good? It's not a recipe for success. It's just not. So, fire sale on the Meadowlands, it might more or less come from getting rid of certain players, maybe coordinators. I know a lot of Giants fans aren't happy with Jason Garrett. Do you blame all this on Joe Judge? Probably. He's the head coach. They haven't been very disciplined this year. I mean, it could go so many different ways. I'm just reluctant to always just fire the head coach. Always. It's most head coach's fault. Is it? Yeah. There's some blame on him. But if he's only been there for a year and a half, and we all sit here and go, oh, the Giants are flawed in this way. They are flawed in that way, right? They got all these weapons, right? But what if the offensive line isn't good? And then they have all these injuries. And it's like, is it Joe Judge's fault that Saquon Barkley can't stay on the field? Is it Joe Judge's fault that the pieces that he has in place are what Dave Gettleman's been working on for the last 4 years? I mean, that's not Joe Judge's fault. Is it? Yeah, maybe his fault that he can't get through to his players to a degree, or they come out unenergized, or they're undisciplined, or some of those things. Yeah, they're his fault. But ultimately, it's just so hard to only blame the head coach, especially, and then just keep firing him after 2 years. Fire. So, yeah, you know what? What I predict happening in the Meadowlands this year, Malizi, is they're going to be firing coordinators and stuff like that, not necessarily head coaches. That's just my opinion. But, hey, I could be completely wrong. I think the Giants need to try something new here because 29 of their last 35 games at home they've lost. That is not very good. I'm Andrew Romanella here on The Rome Show, 12-Ounce Sports Radio, and Zingo TV channel 761. Remember, you got some opinions. Get in on the action. Malise Goodell needs to get with the times. That's a fact. He wrote in on the Facebook, as I was just about to say, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. And you can jump in on the comments section. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to go with the turn up the volume. Let's hear from some people after the weekend. I think these are going to be, let's call them some of my favorite sounders from the weekend, or ones that really hurt me, but that deserve to be played. This is Turn Up the Volume here on The Rome Show. So you turn up your volume as we play you the game winner for the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, their first win in 20 games.
Wright kicks it up. The 53-yarder is good. Wright has made it. The Jaguars have won it on a 53-yard field goal by Matthew Wright. What a magnificent ending in London. Holy cow. Wow. 399 days ago was the last Jaguars win against Indianapolis here in Jacksonville. Right kick.
300. Yeah, you heard that right. No. Yeah, you heard that right. 300. Oh, my God. Why am I a fan of the Miami Dolphins? 399 days since the Jacksonville Jaguars have won a football game, and sure enough, it came against my Miami Dolphins. I guess it is very fair because one time, I'll never forget it, the Miami Dolphins were going for their 0-16 season. That one year they finished 1-15. I think it was like 2008, and they played the Baltimore Ravens, who are historically a really good franchise. You know, the Dolphins aren't historically good. But either way, they lost. And I remember saying, oh, man, to be a Ravens fan right now, that's got to suck. Well, 13 years later, I'm here to tell you it does not feel very good. The Jags, they win their first game of the year. Great call out of their radio guy. And we move on. Tennessee, I don't know if you saw this game over the weekend. Lane Kiffin returned to Tennessee as the head coach of Ole Miss. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, Lane Kiffin became the head coach of Tennessee and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, they weren't really happy with the way Lane Kiffin left Tennessee. So this is actually what happened at the game the other day. And it was kind of disturbing.
Well, it seems like an hour ago, this is the last play. Hooker hitting Jacob Warren for nearly a conversion on a 4th and 24, and then all chaos ensued. As that spot was reviewed, a golf ball thrown out of the stands is going to hit Lane Kiffin here. Looks like on the right elbow. And still, water bottles and debris getting thrown down onto the sidelines on both sides.
Are we serious? Are we serious? Like we're really serious? Like that's a real thing? Like we're going to be fans of a college football team and we're going to throw golf balls and debris onto the field because we're mad that this guy left our team like 10 years ago. Sucked, by the way, when he left. So the karma hit him very hard. And that's how we want to respond to him? What are we doing? Like, no, seriously, though, what are we doing? Like, you're the fan of a college football team, and you're throwing golf balls at a human being because you're mad that he left your team to coach another team. Grow up. Like, this is the problem with fans. Like, I'm serious, man. This is stupid. You're stupid. You should never be able to go to a Tennessee football game again. You actually shouldn't even be able to be in a stadium as a fan ever again. If you actually openly choose to bring golf balls to a game to throw at another human being because he made the decision to leave a job and go to another job. Boy, human, I hope you've never, and I'm sure it's a college kid, some drunk idiot, right? But still, grow up. What is wrong with people? And if it was an adult, by the way, I can't wait. I wish the people that made decisions like this, right? Like to throw a water bottle at somebody or to throw a golf ball at somebody because they're mad at something, okay? I wish we as athletes or coaches or whatever could go to their place of work tomorrow, this week, next week, whenever they decide to maybe move on and leave a job and just start pelting them with water bottles. Wow, I can't believe you left Goldman Sachs for this other place. Wow, you're such a bad person. You went from Sports Authority to Dick's Sporting Goods, right? Like people, they're humans. Bro, this is their job. Like they could, even if you don't agree and it's a really bad freaking decision, the guy can do whatever the hell he wants. You can be mad at him too. I mean, the farthest you should be going is maybe writing mean things to him on Twitter. Like I disagree with that too, but like, that's at least decency in the terms of being a loser. Like you're just a complete loser if you're bringing stuff to games to throw at somebody. So like, take that out of here. They get that out of here. If you're a fan that's throwing stuff at people on the field, you deserve in your everyday life when you mess up to have things thrown at you. That's just a fact, right? Like when I drive, my brother and I think about this all the time. When someone cuts me off, they do something stupid, I wish I had something I could throw at them. Where that immediately just put their car off to the side of the road and they have to sit there for 15 minutes and think about how bad of a driver they are. Then they're allowed to reactivate and drive. That fan should get things thrown at him when he does something stupid on the daily basis. Dan Campbell, Rocky mentioned it in his Rockies rundowns this week, but Dan Campbell was not crying at the end of this weekend's game. No, he was actually super disappointed, and he was the most disappointed in his quarterback, Jared Goff. This is what the Lions head coach had to say after their 34-11 loss on Sunday afternoon.
And accurately judge him one way or another. I don't feel that way yet. Now, I will say this. I feel like he needs to step up more than he has. And I think he needs to help us, you know. just like everybody else. And I think he's going to need to put a little bit of weight on his shoulders here, and it's time to step up, make some throws, and do some things.
You heard the pause, right? You heard the pause. There was a really, this is like a 4 or 5 second pause there from Dan Campbell, because I don't know if he really wanted to say that. I think he wanted to say it. He didn't know how he wanted to say it. I think maybe for a minute he kind of almost got himself a little caught where he was like, I'm about to say this. Should I say this? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say it. And I think you should say it, right? If you feel that way as the head coach, you should say it. But can I just say this, Dan? Okay? I'm not going to say Jared Goff's the best quarterback in the league. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say Jared Goff isn't the reason you guys aren't winning, right? I'm not going to say that. You know, maybe he has made some bad plays, had some bad turnovers. Yeah, he probably has. Okay, he's Jared Goff, and he's also a quarterback in the National Football League. These things happen. But Jared Goff is not the reason you guys are 0-6. Listen, he's got a 66.8% completion percentage. He's thrown for 1,505 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and he's got a QB rating of an 87, okay? Over the course of Jared Goff's career, now let's just look at the last 5 years. 2016, completion percentage 54.6%. 2017, 62%. 2018, 64.9%. 2019, 62.9%. And 2020, 67%. So the last 2 years of his career, including this year so far, have proven to be the best in terms of him completing passes. He hasn't in the last 5 years thrown for more than 16 interceptions. Now, I get it. Better team in LA. But if Jared Goff was truly the only or the biggest problem that he needs to be getting called out by his head coach, Dan Campbell, I would think you would probably see some really like terrible statistics on Jared Goff. But you really don't. He says he needs to step up more. Yeah, he probably has a bad game or 2 in a row. Okay, your offensive line is terrible. Your defense is terrible. You can't get off to a good start. What's that say about you, Dan Campbell? Why can't you guys score in the first quarter? Is it just Jared Goff's fault? Maybe it's your game plan. Maybe it's the coordinators you put in place. Maybe those guys suck. Dude, the guy might not be the best quarterback in the league, but I'm so tired of everyone just going straight to it's Jared Goff. He's one dude. He is one freaking dude. Okay? And yeah, can he be better? Sure. But he ain't the worst quarterback in the league. And those numbers don't scream, you're the problem, Jared Goff. Maybe on the given day he was, sure. And he should be called out if you feel that way. I always believe that. But I don't think Jared Goff is the problem in Detroit. I think Detroit is the problem in Detroit. They're never going to be good. That's just a fact. They're never going to spend the money they need to, and they're always going to be. That's why you're seeing such a good Matthew Stafford now with the Rams, because he's free to do what he wants any old time, because he has people that are good at the game of football. That team's 5-1. Matt Stafford on this team might be 1-5. Might be. But it's just the Detroit Lions are the Detroit Lions. We mentioned before the Chicago Sky won the NBA championship. Here's Ryan Ruocco on the call. This is what it sounded like. We'll get it. Well, we thought that's what it sounded like. Here's what we're going to do. We'll hit a commercial break. We'll finish, turn up the volume. Oh, we got it.
Championship. Grinders 3. Rebound Parker. She's left alone.
And the Chicago Sky win the WNBA championship. And then there's actually no more sound there from Ryan Ruocco. He actually just allows, which I thought was a really good call out of him. He just allows the crowd to kind of get the people fired up. He kind of, lets the scene play the scene, and you can kind of feel the energy and the excitement. And I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of talk, not a lot of talk, but it's been an interesting conversation over the last few years. And it started, I think, maybe like during the World Cup a few years ago when the U.S. women's national soccer team won, and we started talking about the pay differences between the men's sports and the women's sports. And I think one of the sports that people always look at is the WNBA and the NBA. And I don't think people realize how much the NBA helps fund the WNBA. And I think it's great. I mean, like that's exactly what you want, right? You want the league to be helping the league grow. And I think the WNBA is growing, and it's growing very well. Like a lot of these players now only have to be in the WNBA. They don't have to play the WNBA, then go overseas to make their money, et cetera, et cetera. So to see the crowd, the energy, the excitement, and you could hear it on Ruco's call, but you'll hear it at the end here. I got it back up. And it's just the people are extremely fired up, and rightfully so. And Candace Parker, good job out of you going home and winning yourself a championship. And that is Turn Up the Volume here on the Rome Show. Monday morning, October 18th, 2021. I'm Andrew Romanella. We take you all the way up until the 8:30 hour. It's 8:02 here, Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to give you a quick Romalytic before we hit this commercial break. And we just talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. You heard the sounder of the Jacksonville Jaguars winning their first football game in 399 days. The Jacksonville Jaguars won 23-20 over my Miami Dolphins. That ended a 20-game losing streak that dated back to week 1 of 2020. Did you know your Romalytic this week is that is the second longest streak in National Football League history? The longest losing streak in the history of the National Football League was by the 1976-1977 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who not only lost 26 straight games, they lost 26 straight games to start the existence of their franchise. Imagine you open like a suit store, right? I'm gonna sell some fire suits, like maybe weddings and stuff, and then the first 26 days you're open, you don't make a sale. First 26 games the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played in the history of their organization, they won 0. And that is the longest streak in the National Football League. That streak ended in 1977 when that Buccaneers team played the New Orleans Saints, and they won 33-14. At the time, there was no better team to end a losing streak against than the Saints. At the time, right now, it might feel like the Miami Dolphins. That is your Romalytic this week. We hope you enjoyed it. We got a little bit more left on the Rome Show here. Stick with us till 8:30. Andrew Romanella.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. This is the Rome Show here on 12-Ounce Sports Radio, Zingo TV, Channel 761, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter live. It is 8:05 Eastern Standard Time here on the Rome Show. We got you for another 25 minutes. Stick with us. There's so much more to do. Morning hot cakes straight off the Rome, Major League Baseball, the Romy Awards, and my final thoughts. If you have any thoughts at all throughout this show, I want you to head over to the Twitter or the Instagram at Wide World of Rome, and you can write in like so many of our fantastic listeners did. We're going to go through a few more of those now. Nick Machewski writes in, Mac Jones finishes his career with 2 rings. Wow, Nick. I really wish I would have read this out for my brother on the air earlier because he is such a Mac Jones guy, but Mac Jones finishes with 2 rings, deserves a hot take. And I don't think you're wrong. And it could be more. I'm not going to get overzealous here. I don't want the Patriots to be winning so many more rings, but Bill Belichick does what Bill Belichick does. Mac Jones and that offense and that whole team looks like a legitimate team. I just said it earlier. I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. Thanks for writing in on the 360 Management Services Instagram hotline. Joey P7 writes in, the Braves came to play. It's still early to count out the Dodgers, though. I agree, right? The Dodgers are so good. You know, and what's the old adage, right? You never, the series hasn't started until somebody loses on their home field or home court or home ice or whatever, right? So, all right, the Dodgers go back home here, okay? And they're going to have a chance now to hopefully take 2 at the Chavez Ravine. So, Joey, I think that the Braves came to play, 2 straight walk-offs. Game 1, Austin Riley. Game 2, Eddie Rosario. It kind of felt the same way in the first one. Ozzie Albies stole second base, and then Riley hit the ball down the line. And in game 2, I think it was Dansby Swanson. He moved over. Now, this is interesting, okay? And I agree, Joey. I don't think the Dodgers are done. Thanks for the write-in on the 360 Management Services hotline. I don't think people realize these are the intricacies of baseball, and I forget who was hitting for the Braves, okay? And if you know, write it in on the Facebook.com/TheRomeShow1 or hit us up on Instagram. I don't know who was hitting, but he was facing Garrettall, whatever his name is, for the Dodgers, throwing 102, 103 out the pen, okay? And he gets a 0-0 fastball in a 101 on the hands, swings. 0-2 fastball, 101 on the hands, swings. 0-2 fastball, 101 on the hands, breaks his back, he'll get a new bat, right? 0-1 fastball, fouls it back. Then he jam shots a ball to third base on an 0-2 fastball at 102 miles per hour. And moves Dansby Swanson to second base. Why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? Because on the next pitch, right, the Dodgers bring in Kenley Jansen, Eddie Rosario smokes a ball up the middle. Corey Seager is perfectly positioned. I mean, you couldn't have, analytics couldn't have chose a better spot for Corey Seager to be. You might as well have been Smalls in Sandlot, Corey Seager, and I get the ball was hit hard. The exit velo was like 105. Whatever. You're a big leaguer. You were positioned there. Corey Seager misses the ball. Dansby Swanson scores. And ladies and gentlemen, okay, a lot happened because of that AB that moved Dansby Swanson to second base. I want people to think about this, okay? The Braves have won 2 straight games. The first one, single, stolen base, single, winner. The second one, single, move runner over on an out, single, could possibly be an error, probably gave him a single, win the game. You can hit as many home runs as you want. You can have the best doubles and OBP and OPS, OBP we want, on base runs, OPPS and all the slugging percentage and all of those numbers. You can have them all during the regular season. But when it gets to the nitty-gritty of postseason baseball, you need to know how to play small ball. You need to know how to do things besides just try and hit the ball over the fence. And that is why the Atlanta Bravos are 2 wins away from going to the World Series. That is also why the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox, yes, they hit bombs. The Red Sox hit 2 grand slams. 2 grand slams, like the first time it's happened in like 75 years. In inning 1 and inning 2, they hit 2 grand slams. But it's not just the homer that's getting them there. They're playing the game of baseball any way possible. If they need to bunt, they bunt. If they need to steal a base, they steal a base. Go first to third on a single. Play the game the right way in the postseason, and it generally, if not always results in something positive. And so far for the Atlanta Braves, it has resulted in a 2-0 series lead. They've gotten really good pitching as well. Game 3 comes up in this series on Monday. It's a 5:08 p.m. start. Love that. For all those people out there that were interested in why I, set my alarm for different times or whatever it is, just notice some of the game times in postseason. There's a reason for that. I digress. Monday, 5:08 p.m., Charlie Morton takes the hill and he is going to be squaring off against Walker Buehler for the Dodgers. This is a heavyweight matchup that you need to watch. If you haven't been tuning into Major League Baseball, you need to tune in. Okay, so tonight, 5:08 p.m., Charlie Morton, 14-6 with a 3.34 ERA. He struck out 216 people. 216. That's a lot of human beings during the course of the regular season. He had a 104 whip, which means that's walks and hits per innings pitched. So essentially one person on base per inning. That's very difficult to do. And so far this postseason, he's thrown 9.3 innings, 14 Ks to a 3.86 ERA. And in the postseason, he's got a 4.4 ERA with 14 starts. Walker Buehler on the other side had an unbelievable season for the Dodgers. He had 16 wins, 2.47 ERA, 212 Ks. And under a 1 whip, 0.97 walks and hits per innings pitched. That's impressive. In his career in the postseason, Walker Buehler has 10.2 innings pitched, 3.38 ERA, and he has a 2.42 ERA this postseason in 13 total career postseason starts overall. That is your Monday matchup for the Dodgers-Braves series, where the Dodgers are looking to get a game here because the Braves have taken the first two in walk-off style. A1 Rocky Romanella, who not only called in to give us Rocky's rundowns, he is now written into the show. He writes, general managers take notice. Actual batting average and baseball fundamentals still matter.
Ooh, hot take.
I'm not playing the hot take button because that is a hot take. That's the right take, but I'm playing it because it's now a hot take in today's baseball, because today's baseball does not want to play baseball that way, which brings me to, okay, I was thinking about this, okay, and this was one of my morning hot cakes here on the Rome Show, all right? My morning hot cake today, I had two of them, and the second one was being the Major League Baseball wild card team isn't all that bad, especially if you're in the National League, okay? And I'll explain that in a second, but the fact of the matter is, okay, a wild card winner in both sides is playing in the championship series, okay? And all of these fans go into it saying to themselves, oh no, like we got to try and win the division. Well, I got this stat for you, okay? Since the start of the wild card in 1995, okay? That's when the wild card started, one from each side. In 2012, the wild card changed from a series to a one-game play-in, which I personally think is more intriguing. 13 teams since 1995 that were the wild card winner have made it to the World Series. Okay, so if there are 26 years worth of wild card winners, right? I know then you technically double that number, right? Because there's one on each side, but we're going to go by the year. 26 years worth of wild card winners, 50% of those people have made it to the World Series. That's not all that bad of a statistic, considering the last 7 teams to win, to have the Major League's best record going to the postseason, haven't even made the World Series. I'm almost saying I'd rather be the wild card winner than have the Major League's best record. So 13 teams since the start of the wild card in 1995 have made it to the World Series, okay? 7 have won. 7 of those teams have won the World Series. Now, why do I say it's better to be the wild card in the NL? Because of those 13 World Series appearances, 8 of them came from the National League side of things, and of those 7 World Series winners, 5 of them came from the National League, whereas 2 came from the AL. I don't know why that is. I actually have my inkling would be the pitcher hitting thing. I do think that changes to a degree, some type of competition level, but I found that very interesting. But overall, the bottom line is, if I could choose, do I want to be the wild card team and play the one-game playoff and go from there? Or do I want to be the best team in Major League Baseball over the course of the regular season? I'm going to take the wild card, because over the course of the last 10 to 15 years, it's actually proven to give me a better chance of making the World Series. Now, chance might be the wrong word there, because I think it's because you're playing a game and then playing a team that rested. Either way, I just want people to know it's not all that bad. My morning hot cake.
Ooh, hot take.
It's not that bad to be the wild card winner. Ask the Dodgers. Ask the Red Sox. To finish up the Major League Baseball talk today, okay, just to give you the idea, all right, Jose Urquides, I think I'm saying that wrong, for the Astros will take on Eduardo Rodriguez for the Sox, okay? I'm going to get you the official game start on this one. I believe this game is an 8:08 start, which, I mean, just fires me up. That game is tonight at 8:08. Oh, correction. I'm sorry. That Braves-Dodgers game is on Tuesday. That's my fault. Game 3, Tuesday, 5:08 p.m. for the Braves versus the Dodgers. The Astros and the Red Sox play tonight at 8:08 in game number 3. The Astros took game 1, 5-4. And the Red Sox took game 2, 9-5. I mentioned before in game 2, the Red Sox, 2 grand slams, inning 1 and inning 2. That's the first time that's happened in like forever. It was J.D. Martinez and Rafael Devers. In that game, Eovaldi went 5.1 innings, 3 Ks, 1 walk, 3 earned runs. In game number 1, it was all Astros after the 6th inning. The Red Sox led into the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-1, but the Astros scored 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Chas McCormick and Carlos Correa each collected 3 hits, while Altuve and Correa went deep. And that is how that series is tied 1-1, heading to Boston again tonight. Okay. Jose Urquides, 8-3, 3.62 ERA, 90 Ks, .99 whip in 107 innings pitched in the 2021 season. Will square off against Eduardo Rodriguez. If you don't know Eduardo Rodriguez, get familiar with him. Okay, because the dude's pretty good. He was 13-8 this year with a 4.74 ERA. Struck out 185 over 157.2 innings. That's insanely impressive. And against the Rays in the Game 4 victory, went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned, and 6 Ks. And that game sent the Boston Red Sox to the ALCS. So that is your Game 3 matchup. I think if I'm looking at both series, first Red Sox Astros, because that game is tonight. I think the Astros ultimately win this series. I feel like their pitching depth's a little bit deeper. I mean, you just saw it in game 1. Chris Sale's kind of done. I think Eovaldi and Rodriguez are their 2 best guys right now. Their bullpen's shaky a little bit. I think if I had to take either of the 2 pitching staffs, I'm going to take the Astros. I think what's gone on with Boston is awesome. Anyone out there that tries to tell me that the manager in Major League Baseball or the coach or the manager in any sport doesn't matter needs to take a freaking hike, because Alex Cora is proving the insane importance of the manager in Major League Baseball. I think we go back to Boston. The Red Sox win 2. We go to Boston. The Astros win 2, then we come home to Houston, and the Astros win in Game 5. I just think that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong. Maybe it goes 6 games. Either way, I got the Astros winning that series. On the flip side, I think the Braves are going to finish it off. Do I think they're going to sweep? No. I think that Walker Buehler is going to come out Tuesday night and give the start that you expect Walker Buehler to give. The Dodgers are going to bounce back, but I think ultimately Atlanta wins the series in 6 or 7 games, and I think it would be an awesome World Series, at least from a baseball fan standpoint. I don't know about the TV ratings. I don't really care about the TV ratings. That's not my job to care about the TV ratings. I want interest level. For me, high interest level, if I got Houston facing off against Atlanta, I'd love that. And honestly, I hate the Braves kind of, but I'd also, like I said last week, the hating thing's kind of gone out of me now. I really love Freddie Freeman, and I probably really like to see Freddie Freeman win a World Series, and that would fire me up. And I feel bad for him. He's struck out like 6 straight at bats right now, but he don't care because his team's 2-0 right now, and they need 2 more wins to head to the World Series. And that is your MLB breakdown today. The Rome Show. We got about 11 minutes left. Andrew Romanella taking you all the way up until 8:30. Just remember, if you missed any part of this show, the whole show, some of it, all of it, you just want to listen to it again, whatever it is, you can get this show or any show that we produce at the Wide World of Rome anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search Wide World of Rome. That's Wide World of Rome. Search it, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Hit the subscribe button. Head over to social media. Subscribe to @Wide World of Rome so you can get the updates everywhere you need the updates. I want to get into a few football things really quickly before I give you my Romy Awards and my final thoughts for the day. In college football, if you did not know or you did not hear, LSU released a statement that said Coach Ed Orgeron will not be returning for the 2022 season, concluding his tenure with the Tigers upon the completion of the season. From my first day as the athletic director at LSU in 2019, Scott Woodward wrote, Coach O and I have maintained an open and consistent dialogue regarding the state of LSU football. His passion and pride for our football team and for our state are unrivaled and undeniable, and even when faced with this difficult news, he still wants what is best for the Tigers above all else. I have asked him, and he has agreed to remain the head coach for the remainder of the 2021 season, giving our team the best chance for success and continuing to aid in our recruiting efforts. I know Coach O will continue to give everything he has, as that is what he has always given our university and our state, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Scott Woodward continues to go on. Now, I am completely in disagreement with this decision. I'm not in disagreement with this decision because I think Ed Orgeron's the greatest football coach in the entire world. Or, for that matter, I even really care that much about Ed Orgeron being the head football coach anywhere. Why I care about this is because in Ed Orgeron's time at LSU, now he's been the head football coach there since 2016, okay? The LSU Tigers are 49-17. And they won the national championship in 2019. Okay. 49-17. National championship in 2019. And the man is now being fired less than 2 years later. Now, I get it. It's LSU. Okay. He was 15-0. Listen to this. 6-2. 9-4, 10-3, 15-0 national champions, 5-5 COVID year, 4-3 2021. Like, are we serious? Are we kidding? This is my straight off the Rome today, by the way. Are we serious? What do you expect from college coaches? Seriously, what do we expect? This guy is 49-17 as the head coach of LSU. 49-17. National championship less than 2 years ago. Since the national championship, he's 9-8. So what? So what? If we judged every coach on the scale that we judged college football coaches, if we could judge any position in the world on the scale that we judge college football coaches, it would be embarrassing to see the turnover in every job. Imagine. Just imagine. Imagine if Bill Belichick got judged on this scale. He'd already been fired. I'm sorry, that's a joke. So, Ed Orgeron, honestly, if I were you and they told me they didn't want to bring me back, I would have walked the hell out of that room. See ya. Goodbye. You think everyone's better than me? I've won you a national championship. It's been less than 2 years since then. We're 9. It's not like we're 0-17. We're not terrible. We're not the worst team in the league. Come on now. I think that's a joke. So LSU has come out and said, Ed Orgeron's going to coach the rest of the year. And do you really think, Woodward, that that's going to help your recruiting efforts? Yeah, okay. These kids don't know who their head coach is going to be next year. This guy's a lame duck. I'm sorry. If I was him, I'm not killing myself in recruiting. I could love the state of Louisiana all I want. I could love LSU all I want. I still don't really care. I don't. So I'm just letting you know that. So Ed Orgeron out at the end of the year as the LSU head football coach. I think that's embarrassing. It's disappointing. And boy, is it scary to be a head coach in college or a coach in college in general. It's just really, really sad. Some things I wanted to say about the NFL. I know Rocky covered a lot of it. He crushed it for us. What is next for the Miami Dolphins? Because right now I believe them, Jacksonville, and the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions are battling for who's going to have the number 1 overall pick. I think it's ultimately going to end up being Detroit, Jacksonville, Miami, New York. I think the Giants are the best of that 4 bad teams. I think Detroit and Jacksonville are the worst. However, Jacksonville beats Miami, so I don't know. But those 4 teams are fighting for it. And if I'm the Dolphins, I'm finding, you know what? I think I like Brian Flores. I think that the quarterback isn't right. You might want to do an Arizona Cardinals reset here. And maybe you hope that you have the worst record in the league and you get the number 1 overall pick. I don't know what quarterback you necessarily want coming out of college right now, but I would say Miami, Detroit, Jacksonville, and the Giants in some way, shape, or form will finish with the top 4 picks in the National Football League draft. On the flip side, right now, there are 4 teams in the NFC that are really freaking good. The Dallas Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Rams, and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to stick with, and I'm probably going to be wrong here, but the Packers being the worst of those 4 teams. I think Arizona is the best of those 4 teams. I think Dallas and the Rams are fighting it out. I'm going to lean more towards a Sean McVay head coach team than a Mike McCarthy head coach team. That's a fact. Plus, as Rocky said earlier, Dak Prescott in the MRI room. If that man can't stay healthy, I don't know how far this Dallas Cowboys team can go, but I think it's so interesting, the top of that NFC. And and this is with Tampa Bay. The exact statement I have written down is after Tampa Bay, who's the next best team? And then you got Dallas, Arizona, LA Rams, and the Packers. So if I had to rank the NFC right now, Tampa Bay, Arizona, LA Rams, Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers. At me, wide world of Rome, if you don't agree. Moving on. The Chiefs get back on track, which I thought was really awesome. Washington's really bad. That's the Dallas Cowboys division to lose. Is Carolina legit? I have no idea, man. I mean, I don't know. The first 3 they win, the next 3 they lose. Maybe they're just a 500 team. Interesting to see what's going on there in Carolina. After the first 3 weeks, everyone's like, oh my God, Matt Rule, Sam Darnold, this is so exciting. Well, you know, when tape gets out on you, it's interesting to see how good you actually are. And it was nice to see the Raiders bounce back. I thought that situation was really crappy to be in. There's no one happier than Derek Carr when John Gruden resigned. And I think that was seen over the weekend. We head now to the Romy Awards. Your team of the week is the Las Vegas Raiders for winning against the Broncos 37-14 or something along those lines. Either way, anytime you have a situation like that happen, it's fun to see a bounce back. And sure enough, there was a bounce back. Las Vegas Raiders, your team of the week. Your Romy Award for Player of the Week this week goes to Kike Hernandez of the Boston Red Sox. If you're talking about tearing the cover off the baseball and being the hottest baseball player in possibly the planet, it's Kike Hernandez right now. He's 16 for 32. He's got a 500 batting average in the postseason right now. 5 homers, 4 doubles, 9 runs scored, and 8 RBIs. Your Romy Award for Player of the Week, Kike Hernandez from the Boston Red Sox. And your final Romy of the week goes to your record breaker. That is right, Tyrion Davis Price from Louisiana State University, the aforementioned LSU. Broke Leonard Fournette's 5-year record for rushing yards in a game. He carried the ball 36 times, 287 yards, and 3 TDs. That breaks Leonard Fournette's record from 2016 of 284 yards on 16 carries with 3 TDs. Congratulations to your Romy Award for record breaker, Tyrion Davis Price, LSU's single game all-time leading rusher. Those are your Romy Awards of the week. We finished the show with my final thought, and that is this. The NBA starts this week. That's super exciting. And my main thought for you on the NBA starting is, hey guys, the Nets are going to be better without Kyrie Irving. I'm telling you, man, the Nets will be better without Kyrie Irving. I just think that's a fact. I think he's a distraction. I think James Harden and Kevin Durant and the team that they have assembled is good enough. NBA starts this week. We'll see what happens with Ben Simmons in Philly. Does LeBron and the Lakers get back to the top? Can AD stay healthy for the full season? No one really knows. All I know is this has been The Rome Show here on 12 Ounce Sports Radio and Zingo TV, channel 761. Get this show wherever you listen to podcasts. Just simply search Wide World of Rome. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are so kind, just please share the show with your friends so that we can continue to build our Romo Sapien database. Until next Monday, I am Andrew Romanella. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, wrote in on the Facebook and the Instagram. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Thank you for listening.